In Introduction to Solid Modeling, we move our first steps on how to create some parametric solid objects by ThinkDesign. Let's open a new model, and in Options, Properties, in Reference Systems, we ask from ThinkDesign to show the Trade-off-Axis world. Let's now enter the 2D profile. We draw a rectangle with 3 sizes, and later on a line passing for the midpoints of the vertical lines. This because we want to use it at the reference axis, so that, once it has been selected, we say make its reference. Therefore a line that won't generate solid faces, but only a reference entity of our profile. Let's add a coincidence constraint between the midpoint of the center line and the workplane origin. Let's check the profile. Check the profile shows in different colors which entities are well-defined, underdefined, overdefined, or inconsistent. It indicates that there are some degrees of freedom. In fact, if we move dynamically our rectangle, we notice it can stretch and shorten, therefore there is no dimension. So, we insert a dimension by setting the value to 50 before positioning it. In this case, we insert a vertical dimension, and subsequently, by a double click, we enter the value we want it to have, 40. Let's now check the profile. We notice that all entities are in dark blue, so they are well defined. We save the job we have done so far. The first time we select Save, we are asked to type in a name. OK. Let's double-click on the profile just created to switch to the Edit mode. Edit mode, that in this case is assigning a variable to the dimension of 40. Therefore, in the expression field, we type in a letter or a word, in this case H. The variables that we define in this way will appear in the spreadsheet. Even in the spreadsheet, we can define the variable, so giving a name and a value, then, once we have selected the row of the variable, we assign the variable to the dimension or the dimensions in our model. Dimensions with values identified by the greater or lesser symbol stand for dimensions having some assigned variables. In this case, we go to the model environment and apply the linear solid command. The profile is already taken in charge since it was preselected. We indicate a sweep value of 10. Now we have already a little solid object that we are going to save. How can we manage visualization of solid objects? For instance, by changing the shading mode, taking into account the allocation of the material, or shaded view with boundaries. By the right mouse button, we can rotate dynamically. By the wheel, we manage zooming. By the right mouse button and the Ctrl key hit at the same time, we can pan. Instead of using the different commands in the menus or in the icons, as in this case, managing the orthogonal views of our model, orthogonal views that are always referred to the work plane world. Or we can extract the panel with predefined views in order to use the different arrows to drive the solid, to view the solid according to the orthogonal projections. Here are some examples just to have a look.